Nice. Right. So we're just waiting for. There we go. Okay. Hi, there's the Heidi. Hi. You're on mute. There we go.
Hello. Hi, David.
Hi, love. You look very comfortable.
Yes, I was taking a little opportunity to get caught up on my version of the Bhagavad Gita.
Now, I'm in chapter 8, the absolute freedom. It may be quite different than, than whatever chapter 8 says in your version. So you didn't get one of these?
I haven't yet, no.
It's okay. Well, that's great. I mean, this guy, Stephen Mitchell, is amazing. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah. I have the Tao Te Ching that he reinterpreted.
At the front of his book, if you look at what he's written, my gosh, the guy has he did the book of Psalms. I wonder, I'd like to look at that.
Yeah,
I'm going to look at that. And the Tao Te Ching, of course, the book of Job. Job was hard done by.
He did Job as well?
He did, yes.
Oh.
And, so he's really possessed.
In the best way.
In the best way, that's right. He did Genesis.
Wow, I didn't know he had done all the Bible stuff.
Yeah. And he wrote a book edited by Stephen Mitchell, Dropping Ashes on the Buddha, Teachings of Zen Master Zhang Sa. I mean, it's really, we could spend the next year reading his stuff.
No kidding.
Yes. So what happens, we're actually live right now on Facebook.
Okay.
And,
hello.
We are, yeah.
You were live.
And it's okay. I'm really unscripted and unedited, and I love it that way. And
I like that about you. I'm all just cozied up with my pillows and my blankets. So.
That's beautiful, yeah. And we're also live on YouTube, and so a couple of channels, I think, on Facebook, my personal channel plus the Bowling and Beyond channel, and YouTube. Wonderful. What an interesting project to build a YouTube channel, to get it's wow. So I'm deep in it and enjoying that. So so you can actually see the can you see the book?
Yeah, let me just pin that. And David, I'd like to hear another time about some of your YouTube wisdom. I'm also on that journey. And
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have one word: persistence.
Persistence. Okay.
One word. It's like, it seems to be. I'm a big fan of what's his name? Vanderchuck. I'll send you some information. Yes.
Cool. So I can see the book on my screen. It's sideways.
Is it? Yeah. How's that?
That's upside down.
Okay. Now we're.
Yes. There we go. Absolute freedom.
Awesome. So, oh yeah, it works that way. That's great. I wonder how people have been reading it in the past. I'm going to get up for a second and shut the door. Can you hear the? Yeah. Can you hear the chainsaw?
Noise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of my buddies, I've got a young fellow staying with me, and he's trimming the trees in the backyard.
Oh, great!
And not giving much thought to the fact that I'm online, and it probably hasn't crossed his mind. Just 1 second.
Okay.
That should help.
Yes, that is better.
So I love this book. This is amazing. And just to bring people up to speed a little bit, you know, I didn't really plan. I don't have a plan, so I didn't really plan to read the Bhagavad Gita. It just really just kept coming, you know. And what I've learned in my living in as close to the moment as possible, or in my intuition, is that if something comes up like 2 or 3 times, I pay attention, you know, so and often I argue though. Are you sure you want me to read the Bhagavad Gita? Anyway, so I'm happy to be sharing this with people, and what happens over the next couple of days is we'll get, you know, several hundred views, and you know, I'll post it and repost it, and our reading today. So it's great to have you here, and
I'm really, really happy to be here. You know,
yes, can we tell now instead of at the end a little bit about what you do and why, you know, what we're planning?
Sure. Yeah, I want to share what's on my heart today, because I'm feeling grateful for this space and for what you're doing and for inviting me into it, because I've got a bookshelf full of scriptures and beautiful books, and I'm always playing with the balance, because I'm also a teacher, and I run lots of Tantra programs. And so I'm always tweaking the balance between my own practice, my own study, and what I'm sharing with the world.
Yes.
And when I get a chance to just sit down and delve into my own study with a text like the Bhagavad Gita, it feels like this rich, syrupy, warm feeling for me. It's just so, so good. And so I'm grateful that you've kind of set this hour or however long, you know, we're going to be here today aside to do that, because it's so delicious. You know, sometimes when you do this for a living, or for myself anyways, I'm so busy teaching and coaching, and I have a daily practice, but I don't always sit down and cuddle up with hot chocolate and read the text as much as I would like. So
Nice.
this is fun. I'm excited for this.
Well, fun to have you here.
Yeah.
You know, this so far, reading the first 7 chapters, and even though I've been through this book, you know, a dozen times, it's like, oh my gosh, it's always new. It's, you know,
there's so many layers. And as I was waiting to join the call, I was reading Swami Shivananda's copy, and I know it's going to be backwards on your screen, but
it actually isn't. It isn't backwards. Yes, it's great. Yeah.
Okay. So I opened it up, and this little pamphlet fell out for the Shivananda ashram in Mangair, India. And it flooded all of these memories of my time there, because I spent some time there at the Shivananda ashram, and just the craving in my soul to be in that community again, you know, to have that structure where we're getting up at 4 every morning and we're meditating, and we're, you know, listening to someone speak about the scriptures, and it's such a beautiful way to live. Yeah. So let's take a little essence of that today, and feel that today, because we're kind of joining in a sangha today. It feels really good.
Sangha is 24/7, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. That's the best way.
It is. So we're planning to get together and share with some other folks at the end of December. So you're thinking that the end of November, yes. The 29th?
Yes, the 29th and the 30th. And I'm excited for this, because one of my favorite classes to teach is my Tantra 101. And it's a full day immersion where we explore that Tantra is so much more than just sex, which is kind of its reputation.
Yes.
It's really about having that intimate relationship with all of life. I just read a great quote on this Alan Watts page you sent me. Thank you. I'm a big fan of Alan Watts. And someone had said, worry is worshiping the negative. Worry is worshiping the problem. And that resonated with me so deeply, because in Tantra, everything is something that we worship. We learn to worship all of life, and we control or create our life experience depending on what we choose to worship in every moment. You know, and worshiping the truth and worshiping the essence is going to give us the fullest experience of life. And so I love that, how if we're sitting around worrying, like, on one level, we're worshiping the problem. We're giving the power, we're giving our attention, we're giving our prayers and our energy to the problem. And I really liked hearing that, because there's so many other things for us to worship that are going to help us to serve more and allow us to feel more of who we are and the joy of who we are. And we can worship those things. And what I love about Tantra is that there isn't a separation between your spiritual life and the rest of your life. It's all your spiritual practice, every single part of it, without exception, which is why sex got thrown in the mix, because it's pretty rare that a spiritual practice even addresses sexuality. So I think we got so excited. We're like, there's a spiritual practice that doesn't make us renounce our sexuality, or that doesn't just, sweep it under the rug and talks about it. So everybody kind of glommed onto that and then started to be known as the sex thing. But that's really about 6% of it. So it just applies to every aspect of your life and loving everything.
Yes. The Taoists also, focused on the practice as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes. I was going to share with you. I was in Khajuraho at the temples. Have you been?
I have. Yeah, I spent a nice chunk of time there.
Yeah. And what an experience that was to to get there, first of all.
I bet.
and Tantra goes back, when I think when we look at the Indian faiths, the Jains claim to be one of the original religions in India, but Tantra is a very old teaching, and I think I tell people about you, and I love that you've been studying this for 8+ years. You may have even been studying it before and just didn't know. Everything, as we look back, we see, that if that hadn't happened, this is all part of this, of the same thing.
Well, it would have been about 15 years ago when I was taking my undergraduate, and I was studying business, but I had to take a few English courses where we would write these essays. We would read poems, classical British literature poems, and write essays on them. And for some reason, my essays were always about Tantra. I had never studied Tantra at that point, but I was always talking about transmuting our sexual energy to achieve immortality and the power of the masculine and the feminine and goddesses. And I think it was really interesting for my profs. I don't think they'd seen that aspect or that angle on these poems before.
Did you ever read Napoleon Hill?
Yeah. He's there on my bookshelf.
And and he did. I think it's chapter 13 in Think and Grow Rich. He was a way ahead of his time in many ways. His chapter on sex transmutation and the most powerful energy in the world.
There in the world that are reading that book are studying Tantra.
Pardon me?
All the business people out there in the world reading Think and Grow Rich are studying Tantra.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Because Tantra is everything. As Osho said. And beautiful. So I really I love that you have made a study of this, and that you're sharing this. And I'm so excited to have you coming to my home.
Me too. And I want to just say too that the Tantra 101 is kind of the springboard if you want to practice Tantra and get a real feel for the bigness of it, and then choose your path within it. That's what this course is for. It gives you the foundation. And I've had people come to it who've been practicing forms of Tantra for years, but this class really helped them to get the big picture and to ground that further. So
Nice.
that's the starting point. That's such an important course. And then the next day, we're going to do something fun, the We Are Bliss workshop, which is where we go a little into the connection and the juicier aspects of Tantra, because it's equally valid. And I mean, you can choose whatever path you want within Tantra. Your practice can be staring at a dot on the wall, and that's your tantric practice for your whole life. Or you can get into the sexual juiciness. You can choose. If you go into sexuality as a spiritual practice, it can take you all the way. And if you go into spirituality and shedding the deconditionings and having that clear vision, it'll open your sexuality anyways if you go all the way.
No kidding.
It's multiple paths towards the same
Yeah.
goal. Just the level of commitment and how far we're willing to go on our chosen path.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me sharing, I mean, I'm older, and I remember Dr. David Hawkins. Have you read any Hawkins? So Hawkins,
David, I've seen him around. He's not
Power versus Force. He wrote Power versus Force, and he wrote Letting Go, and he talked about, you know, being present. That, you know, some of our best years in you know, in sexuality can be in our 60s and 70s.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've been on a nude beach and everyone's got their clothes on except for the 45 plus crowd. They're all like, I'm finally comfortable with my body.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah. Fun. I wanted to show you something before we started to read. Can you see the paintings on my wall? The Muji and Ramana Maharishi. How do you say his name?
Maharshi, Ramana Maharshi.
And I haven't put this one up, but it just got finished. This is Babaji.
Oh.
You know,
can I see a little closer? Okay. Which Babaji is this?
He was Muji's teacher, of course, many people's teacher, but he was a student of Maharishi, and so these three go together. This is Muji's lineage.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes, this guy. If you look him up, Babaji, on YouTube, so fun.
Okay.
He's just hilarious, and he really didn't come into his teaching till in his 60s. You know, but great story, and had a, you know, huge following. I have friends who went to India to see him in the 90s, and you know, and sometimes I wished I had been more aware at that time and been able to go, you know, but whatever. Here we are now.
Yeah, you're here now. And
we're here now. Let's read this.
Okay.
You can see it, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So this is chapter 8, and to bring people who aren't aware, the story is a story of Arjuna, the warrior, and Arjuna is about to go into battle, and there's two armies in the field, and he actually knows, you know, of course, everybody in his army, but he knows most everybody in the other army as well. And he rides into the middle on his chariot, and he's with Krishna. And Krishna, Lord Krishna, and Arjuna have a conversation, and time stands still, and for this conversation, and this is the storyline that comes with this beautiful teaching, and the Bhagavad Gita, for many people, Gandhi claimed it as really his Bible, and many people, I mean, this is just a very high vibration teaching. Hawkins said that this teaching vibrated over 900, which is, you know, Christ consciousness in his scale was 1000. So that, you know, I tell people they can sleep with this book. And there's value, you know, not only in the words, but between the words. And
Just osmosis. Put it under
yes,
the pillow and
yeah,
you'll absorb the teachings and the vibrations.
yeah. So it's get a copy for those of you that are going to watch this. Stephen Mitchell is an amazing, awakened teacher in his own right, and he's married to
Byron Katie?
yeah, Byron Katie. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You were the one who shared that with me. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's and what a power team those two.
Mhm.
And Byron Katie's teachings, which she calls the work,
Mhm.
have helped lots of folks to awaken. So here we are. I can't read it upside down, but you can. You want to read a couple of stanzas?
I'd be happy to.
Yes.
Okay. So this is chapter 8. And Arjuna says, what is this absolute freedom? Krishna, what is the self? What is the true nature of action, the nature of beings and of gods? Teach me the way of worship. What it is here in the body, and how at the hour of death can a man be with you in spirit? The blessed Lord said, freedom is union with the deathless. The self is the essence of all things. Its creative power, called action, causes the whole world to be. About beings, know that they die. About gods, know the supreme person, and know that true worship is I myself, here in this body. Whoever in his final moments thinks of me only is sure to enter my state of being once his body is dead. Whatever the state of being that a man may focus upon at the end, when he leaves his body, to that state of being he will go.
Wow. I love your voice is great.
Thank you. Thank you. This is beautiful. Shall I continue?
Please, yeah.
Okay. Therefore, Arjuna, meditate on me at all times and fight with your whole mind intent on me. You will come to me, never doubt it. Strong in the practice of yoga, with a mind that is rooted in me and in nothing else, you will reach the supreme person that I am. Meditate on the guide, the giver of all, the primordial poet, smaller than an atom, unthinkable, brilliant as the sun. If you do this at the hour of your death, with an unmoving mind, drawing your breath up between your eyebrows, you will reach the person that I am. I will teach you about the state called the eternal, the absolute, which those who strive toward me ever, can you move it slightly? Enter desireless, freed from attachments. And that was page 108, which is important.
There's about 4 more pages. Maybe you could read one more and then I'll.
Sure.
Let me see. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
My gosh.
Yes, I can see it now. Closing the 9 gates of the body, keeping the attention in the heart, drawing the breath to the forehead, with the mind absorbed, one-pointed, uttering the sacred Om, which itself is freedom. Focused on me as you leave the body, you attain the ultimate goal. For men whose minds are forever focused on me, whose love has grown deep through meditation, I am easy to reach, Arjuna. Reaching me, these great souls attain the supreme perfection and are no longer reborn in this fleeting.
Sorry.
Yeah, there it is. In this fleeting world of sorrow and pain. And there's a little bit more. All realms up to the realm of Brahma are subject to rebirth. And there might be one more word. No? Okay. But those who attain me, Arjuna, will never be reborn again.
Ah, thank you. It as I'm watching it on this screen, it's a little difficult, but here we go. He says, if you know that one single day or one single night of Brahma lasts more than 4 billion years, you understand day and night. When day comes, all things emerge from the depths of the unmanifest nature. From the depths of the unmanifest nature. When night comes, all things dissolve into the unmanifest again. These multitudes of beings in an endless, beginningless cycle helplessly dissolve when Brahman night comes and emerge once more at his dawn. But beyond this unmanifest nature is another unmanifest state, a primal existence that is not destroyed when all things dissolve. This is the eternal unmanifest and is called the ultimate goal. Men who reach this, my supreme dwelling, are never reborn. This supreme person, Arjuna, who contains all beings and extends to the limits of all that is, can be reached by wholehearted devotion. Now, Arjuna, I will tell you the times at which men of yoga die and must be reborn, or die never to return. Fire, light, day, the moon's brightness, the 6 months of the north turning sun. Dying then, men are free, go to absolute freedom. Smoke, gloom, night, the moon's darkness, the 6 months of the south turning sun. Dying then, men of yoga reach the moon's light and return. These paths of light and of darkness have always existed. By one, a man will escape from rebirth. By another, he is born again. Knowing these two paths, Arjuna, the man of yoga, at all times resolute in their non-attachment, goes far beyond the merit. Read that again. Knowing these two paths, Arjuna, the man of yoga, at all times resolute in his non-attachment, goes far beyond the merit. Gain, merit, I see. Merit gained from the study of the scriptures, from acts of worship or control or charity. Dying, he reaches the supreme primordial place.
It felt very emotional for me reading that.
Thank you. There's something for me, Heidi, is that I if there's a message, it seems that it's not in the words. You know what I mean? I watch my mind want to understand the words, and but to just for me to just recognize that it's beyond the words.
I think it's a transmission. I think it's a transmission of energy that's channeling out through the words into our cells, like right into our DNA. It's changing us from the inside. And we don't necessarily have to intellectually understand it.
Yeah, it really isn't an intellectual, and a thinking process. And because I recognize that with my thinking, with my mind, I'm always in trouble.
I really love thinking. I love intellectualism. And I think of it a little bit as a mental masturbation.
Yes.
It's kind of pointless in the end, but it sure feels good. It's so fun to indulge in figuring it all out. Let's figure out the universe and let's gather together and brainstorm and just like understand everything and how the theories all connect. It's totally a mental masturbation, and it's fine and it's great as long as we realize that there's something deeper than that, than what our
Yes.
minds can grasp.
Yes. Yeah, that's no kidding. Yes.
Yeah. Can I share some of what
Please.
came up for me?
Yes.
it it reminded me of um, when I took a course on the art of dying, and I've always been kind of fascinated with dying because I think it's really kind of falsely marketed to us what dying is,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's something quite exciting. And I was thinking about how, a lot of teachers will say where you go after you die depends on what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a staunch Christian and you really believe that you've lived your good life and Jesus is in your heart and God is waiting for you in heaven, that's kind of your experience. And if you think there's nothing after death, that'll be your experience. And I like thinking about that, mentally masturbating about that for a while can be really fun. Um, and also, I believe my truth is that it is really important what your state of consciousness is when you die. And as Krishna was speaking about that, have my name on your lips, have my awareness in your consciousness, focus only on me when you die. That's so important. And meditation's so important for that because it's a scary moment. Like our world right now, it's a scary moment and we don't have a lot of certainty. And it's so easy to get blown away and caught up in different dramas and different stories and different fears. But if we can always keep whatever our deepest truth is on our mind through all of that, it becomes the navigation for us. And so in the course that I was taking, we were practicing. It was from the Tibetan book of the dead. And it was teaching us how to not be scared when you see the white light.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the Tibetan tradition, there's a series of white lights that approach you, and most people are afraid and they turn away. And then you miss that portal. So all the traditions say different things. This is just what one tradition says.
They speak about the Bardos.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think the essence of it is that training, like do the training so that when these moments of uncertainty and unfamiliarity and intensity come, we can face them and we can stay focused on our truth no
Mm-hmm.
matter what. And that's, I think, for me, really what I needed to hear right now in life. And also, I think what I want to focus on to prepare for death as well, because that's creating our reality. What we focus on, what consciousness we're committed to simmering our being in, is what creates our whole experience.
Yeah. Would the thought that's coming when you're sharing is that, of course, we have no idea when death is coming. Like I loved how Krishna said to focus on me, and right away my mind thinks, well, yes, of course, when I'm about to die, but he says, no, always, right?
Yeah.
And because we have no, it's the illusion of the mind tells me that, I'm going to die when I'm 95, you know, in a beautiful hut close
Bob.
to close to the ocean. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
and,
Yeah.
and it may be this afternoon.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's about what's your muscle memory? What's the muscle memory of your state of consciousness?
Yes. Be here now. Be here now. Be here now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're driving and you hit a patch of ice, and if you're a good driver, you've trained yourself over and over what to do when you hit that patch of ice. And if you're not as good a driver, or you spend your winters in Asia like me, you might panic when you hit that patch of ice and slam on the brakes and crash into something. And so for me, our spiritual practice is creating that muscle memory every single day so that in that moment, it's just automatic. It's automatic and we know what to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Presence.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um, it's interesting because what's happened for me is that the struggle is gone. There's
Mm.
like nothing's missing
Mm.
in you know it, all the time. It's amazing, and I'm so grateful, that it's like, oh, you know, I something shifted, and I don't see a problem. Do you know what I'm the mind. It's like I'm looking through a whole new lens, and most of my life I was judging everything is right or wrong or good or bad, and um, it's gone, and when it comes up, because I won't say that it's not there. It just doesn't. I don't hold on to it. I don't attach to, and this morning, and I do a reading and a meditation in the mornings, and my in my talk this morning was about our neighbors actually to the south,
Mm.
and that today would be a really good day for us to send lots of love,
Yeah.
because love lifts us up. Love, and you know if our intention isn't to make anybody right or wrong, just to lift them up,
Mm.
um, you know, in the as we, and I think we can do that with prayer and intention and kind of focus, and because I see that no matter, when we're in anger, when we're in judgment, when we're in fear, like we see sometimes, that's happening, um, quite exposed in the States right now.
Yeah.
um, you know the, the I call that spiritual sickness,
Mm.
and that and the only remedy for spiritual sickness is to be lifted up, not to focus, like you said, on the problem,
Yeah.
and um, to, I think, not only for you and I, are the gifts amazing, but we're in a position to share,
Mhm.
and I love that you do that, and you know and you know and it's not about getting, I mean, yes, people need to charge for their time, because we live in a practical world where we have to, pay our bills and stuff, but it's a um, I mean, the beautiful thing about sharing is that it all comes back,
Mhm.
eh? And when you sit with somebody or counsel somebody, and you give them your love and your heart, and I get to do that as well, and it's like, oh my gosh, when the call is over, or even in the middle of the call, and it's like we hit that spot where you and I got to last time we talked, and it's like, oh wow, so beautiful.
Truly.
Yes. And I
Wow.
think there's thousands like us.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Millions maybe like
There's so many people anchoring light right now and anchoring love and
us.
just
Mhm.
pouring out blessings onto all sides. And
Mhm. And,
yeah.
and of course we know there is no sides. It's just but it's the idea of the sides that separates them, and
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. This is coming to say 3 or 4 times. I just want, it seems like some of our community, some of our friends are going to go to Tulum this year.
Oh.
Tulum's open. It's easy to get to. It's a beautiful community, south of Cancun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, there's direct flights. But I'm hearing through the grapevine that lots of people from Europe and North America are going to head to Tulum this year.
Interesting. Are you thinking of going yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend who's in England, and she has a place in Goa, and she's pretty upset that it's just not going to work out for her to go to Goa
Right.
this year, and so she's considering Tulum, and I mean, it's WestJet flies direct to Cancun.
When are you thinking of going, David?
Well, it wouldn't be till after Christmas,
Okay.
January, February.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been in Canada for winter for so long. I think it's been 7 years. And so I,
I know.
I could be sold on that possibility. Part of me feels like I need to be here right now just because there's so, it's really ramping up. And now is a chance for us to choose and demonstrate who we are and what we stand for and what we believe in. And so I feel a bit torn because I don't want to just run away and go to somewhere where it's easy. But at the same time, if I can be of more service there, then I would. So it's something I need to meditate on.
Yes, and I'm also like, it's interesting because universal intelligence, consciousness will tell me, I get this is all just kind of the whispers of this were coming in yesterday, and I get like, oh, that sounds like fun, and sometimes God, as I understand him, may need, if I'm not meant to go to Tulum, I'll know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it, David.
Yeah.
Because I haven't felt the pull. Like I've felt the mental desire, but
Yes.
I just get the knowing. I just get the direction. It's like you're
Yes.
here now, and I haven't got it yet. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm here in Edmonton until I get that direction.
Yes.
Part of me hopes that I get the direction to go to Tulum.
I'm thrilled that you're feeling that
But
coming to Calgary's a
we'll
good
see.
thing. Okay. I'm thrilled that you must have really.
What's that?
I think you must have really
I
checked
didn't hear
in,
that.
and can you hear me? Hello.
I can now. I missed what you said though.
Okay. What happens sometimes? My phone rings and it shuts everything off.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad you're coming to Calgary. And it would be fun if I mean, there's lots of folks here that are in the community. Aaron Patrick, don't you?
Oh, I believe I have seen him around online, but I have not met him in
So
person.
he's also teaching in the Tantra.
Yeah. Is his partner Alyssa?
Say again.
Is his partner Alyssa? Does that
maybe I'm not sure. I've met him, and
okay.
But I have this feeling that people who are going to come to your event will not be necessarily people who've been already in the practice, but maybe some really new people, that are curious, that are feel drawn, and so I'm looking forward to putting that out. Are we going to create an event?
Usually it's about 90% new people and 10% that have been on the path for years. Yeah.
So we'll create an event on Facebook and I can share with my.
Yeah. I'm working on it. It's almost ready to go. Did you want to put your address on there, or do you want to just leave that until?
Let's just put Signal Hill.
Signal Hill?
Signal, Signal, Signal Hill.
Okay.
And yeah. And then we can put the exact addresses as we see who's coming.
Great. Yeah, I like that. So we've got a Eventbrite page coming out,
nice.
And a Facebook page.
I'd love it if you could find time to join me again for this.
Yeah, me too.
What does your week look like?
This week is pretty booked. I'm launching a new men's program right now,
Yes.
which I'm really excited about. I'm really opening up my King of Hearts coaching. I work one-on-one with men for 3-month containers to transform, everything from love and relationship and sex and spirit. And I felt the call to make it available to more men. So I'm doing a group program, which is super accessible. And I'm just in the process of launching that. So that's going to start the week after this week, next week.
Will you send me the link for that, and I'll post it on this, and also
Yeah, I sure will. And what if you and I joined again next week and made this a weekly thing on Tuesday?
Okay. Yeah, I'll be along already, a couple of chapters, but the neat thing about this book is that we can open up anywhere. and to any chapter, and it's amazing. So
it's like this infinite wave that you can just dip your toe into or dip your head into or dive into at any moment, and it's always there. That's what it feels like to me.
Yes.
And there's something so perfect about the timing.
The other thing about this is that my schedule is nowhere near as busy as yours, so I can actually be flexible and do this, when you have an hour.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it is very packed right now. So let's aim for the Tuesdays. The Tuesdays at 12, and I can join you, and we can have this time on a regular basis.
I like that. Okay, sounds great. And I think that I think we're finished for today.
Okay, good. Well, I'll send you the King of Hearts info.
Yes.
And
you have a Facebook page for that, or an event page for that as well?
Yes. Yes. There's something on my website I can send you, and it's got lots of more juicy details.
Okay, nice. I'll post it for you. And I'm looking forward to the information about our event, on the coming up.
Can't wait. Okay. And thank you for letting me into your world and sharing this work with your people. I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to being in a workshop together.
Okay, thanks. Love you.
Beautiful day.
Bye.